We're recording. Darth Vader's here. That's fantastic. And great. So Judy's on here. Kristie, Kelly. So you guys are aware, I think, that you can, in your Zoom window, you can go down to stop video, and it will stop the video, and then you don't need to put like all kinds of, bars and hands and I don't know what else you're putting on there. Here, look, we'll get a MetaFast bar. We'll just stick that right at that. See, can't see a damn thing. And then, oh, look, here's the granola side. Granola. And then, it just looks weird, like when I'm seeing like granola wrappers and handkerchiefs and, Darth Vader. Right, exactly. It's like, just turn off the camera. Turn off the camera. Relax. Just, boom. See, you're done. You can upload a cute little picture where you look all nice and clean with good lighting. I mean, my picture's always going to look better than me anyway. So, we'll just keep, you don't need to see me live. Just look at the picture. It's like, look how handsome he is. What a good-looking guy this is. That's the deal. All right. Now that we've done the tech, Kelly still has some, read something. Here's the danger. The only danger with putting schmatas on your camera is sometimes you can see through the schmata and sometimes the schmata falls off. And when the schmata falls off, this is very technical language here. When the schmata falls off, then we see whatever's behind your camera. Be careful out there, friends. It's the internet. You never know what's out there on the internet. Crazy town. Crazy, crazy, crazy town. All right. So good. Glad to have you guys here. The granola does look good. Thank you, Kristie. Appreciate that. Let's start with wins and celebrations. Success story, breakthroughs, checks in the door, whatever you got. Let's hear it. Who wants to go first? I saw Annette. Unless Annette was doing hand exercises, which is like stretching, but I think you got something.
I did, and then I went, I don't know if I want to be first. A big aha was that I committed to your challenge for next week.
Oh, good.
I mean, that's giant for me. I tested my opening line of, when I make a phone call on a couple of restaurant managers, and they said they got immediately what I was talking about. And I pretty much finished, and it's in the thing, so later on, take a look.
Yeah.
Because I'm submitting my stuff to Applebee's today. I mean, those are all giant, because my thing is to always wait until the last day. It's my last day, and I thought, you better make it worthwhile. So that's my wins and ahas. Thank you.
You're welcome. Very, very nice. Cool beans. Who's next? Roger, go ahead.
I had a really great conversation with Teresa yesterday about my products and toning up the products and services. That really helped. And I'm redoing the homepage of the website based on user language. And so I met with my web designer yesterday. So we're very, very excited about that. So thanks for all your help on that.
Great. Very, very nice. Yeah, people, there's going to be times in this program where you like Teresa more than me. I'm just going to have to deal with that, and it's been a long time problem. I get it.
I didn't say I liked her more. I mean, it's just like, right now it's like,
The love fest, 50-50. Right up there, neck and neck. People say, so do you guys have this good cop, bad cop? And we like to say it's bad cop, worse cop. It's bad cop, worse cop. That's the game we like to play. We keep everyone in line, keep everybody focused on revenue-generating activities. The worst thing is when people do not do revenue-generating activities. Then you have a come to Teresa meeting or a come to Newman meeting, and it's not fun. All right, who else? Celebration, success story, recent win, recent clarity, recent aha moment. Anybody? We got a lot of people off camera now because I said don't put a schmata. Now, you don't have to be off camera, but if you want to be off camera, now we all know where the button is. That's great. But just don't put the schmata in front of the camera. So you don't want to be on camera, that's fine too. All right. So good. Well, let's get right to the questions then. Drew says, based on the nature of my initiative, I'm struggling to get from nice to have to have. Very, very important. So talk about that a little bit. Give us a little bit of backstory and where you see some potential juice for the have to have angle.
Okay. My backstory is for the last 2 years, I have a syndicated radio show and podcast that inspires people to live on purpose. And what I've done is turned up the knob on my speaking regarding the same initiative. So when my discovery call with Teresa, gearing it towards companies, I realized I need to focus on work-life balance, goal setting, but it's rah-rah. It's cheerleader type stuff. It's motivational type stuff. So that's why I'm struggling with getting to the have to have instead of that would be nice to have. And I just kind of needed help working through that. And I know a lot of it's head trash. And, I've looked up statistics on, happier employees. I've looked on, the turnover rate, how much it costs to replace employees. So retention, I have all of that and that's in my stuff, but it's still at the end of the day, it's rah-rah.
Well, again, let's unpack all of that because this is going to be a fantastic conversation for everybody. It's rah-rah because you're saying it's rah-rah, right? Our job in here is to give you guys the rocket fuel and build you up and give you the clarity and the confidence and the messaging and the packaging so that you go out there and you're totally crushing it. I could equally, in a toxic, negative way, I could go down each and every one of you guys and tell you why that's bullshit. That's just a nice to have. Nobody needs that. No one's going to pay for that. Why in the world would that be important? I mean, look at Kip over here. Talent development. You know what talent development is? Talent development is, I'm the CEO. You know what my vision of talent development is? Sit down, shut up, do what you're told, and do it the first time. I don't need Kip Backscheider to come in, oh, talent development, oh, succession planning, oh, leadership bench strength. I don't need Roger. I don't need, creativity, innovation. I don't need Eddie. Wait a second, you're going to teach my advisors to wine and dine and no, we're going to sell. It's a boiler room, man. We're going to make cold calls and we're going to get all these millionaires and billionaires to give us money. We don't need these wine events and bullshit and whatnot. I could tear each of you down. Now, we're not doing that, and you three guys don't take it personally. It's all about what lives in here, right? If we feel that it's nice to have, not have to have, if we're not totally in touch with the problems that we solve, the symptoms that we make go away, the heartaches, the headaches, the challenges that we make go away, if we're not in touch with the outcomes, the end results, the ultimate destination of what our programs and speeches and keynotes and events and workshops and training and consulting interventions create, right? No one's going to believe it more than us. No one's going to value it. Here's the other thing. No one's going to value what you do more highly than you. I just got off a call with a woman who I did not invite into this program, totally screwed up. And I mean screwed up in a big way, capital S, capital U, screwed up around money and around money issues and what her topic is worth and what it's not worth. She was the biggest obstacle to her own success. So I would challenge everybody that when it comes to mindset, when it comes to, remember the 3 questions from last week, right? What business are you in? What business are you really in? And this is a question I would ask you, Drew, right? Because you just told me the business that you're in. It's motivation, it's rah-rah, blah, 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 blah. But then you said, hey, I've also done the research. I know what the impact of this is. I know what the lack of this causes, right? I know when it's missing, funky, broken, and sad, what happens inside companies, personally, professionally, culturally, financially, economically, right? So the 3 questions, just to review, this will help you unpack the head trash real quick. What business are you in? What business are you really in? And then what business do you need to be in? So Kip, for example, is in the no more people headaches business. Roger is in the no more innovation, creativity, stuckness, old ideas, old problems, putting the record in the old groove and expecting different results business. right? He's in the transformational breakthrough business. He's in the quantum leap business. Eddie, equally, is not in the power entertaining food and wine business. He's in the I help financial advisors get more clients, keep more clients, and find more and better new ones all the time, every single day, right? So these guys are totally in touch with, it's like the dark side and the light side. Get Star Wars on you here, right? The dark side is all the negative, exactly. Thank you, Darth. Yeah, so it's like, I walked right into that. One, yeah. I need to get like toys and mascots here. Roger's totally upstaging the whole operation. So the dark side is all that negative, scarcity thinking, imposter syndrome, small potatoes, not good enough, not smart enough. I got to take the $1,000 fee because their fee's $1,000. And you can give into that. Let me tell you how to think about this for everybody. There's the voice of judgment, right? The negative judgment, little devil on your shoulder, little red guy over here saying you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you'll never make money with that program. That program sucks. No one needs that. That's bullshit. That's just hot air. No one's going to buy that, right? Little red guy. Over here is the voice of objective intelligence. The voice of objective intelligence, little white angel on this shoulder, saying this is super important. You absolutely have to have this. You have to have this dialed in. Anyone who says no to this is an idiot, right? This is about your belief. This is about your conviction. This is about the outcomes when your clients and audiences get this right. And you also know the outcomes when your clients and audiences get this wrong. What I was starting to tell you is this woman I was on the phone with that was so crazy screwed up that I didn't even invite her into the program. I left that phone call. I genuinely felt sorry for her. And it wasn't from a place of arrogance. It wasn't from a place of I'm better than you or my clients are more successful than you are. It was I'm really, really sorry that you're not availing yourself of this kind of help because we could totally move the needle on your business. And I knew that we could. Now we couldn't want it more than she did. And couldn't be more important to me than it was to her. Right? My job during that conversation, your job during every sales conversation is not to sell your program. Your job is to enroll them in the vision of implementing the outcomes that you know in your heart and soul that you deliver. So if you want to have a thriving speaking-driven business where you're making an extra 10, 15, 20K per month, that's what we bend over backwards to make sure happens in here. Whatever you do in your business with sales, leadership, customer service, personal empowerment, building a culture, talent development, building a great restaurant, having an awesome HR department, growing your career, advancing your highly placed professional women, having a culture of inclusion and diversity, whatever it is that all of us do, if you're not buying it, nobody else will. And if you're not in touch with the outcomes of it and purely focus on this shoulder here, the voice of objective intelligence, feed the brain cells with that, and as much as you possibly can, turn down this little red guy or gal, depending on who you're talking to, right? Turn the volume down on this, turn the volume up on the voice of objective intelligence, where you're going to have the clarity, you're going to have the confidence, you're going to have the visceral connection with what you do and how it impacts every client and every audience. This is a huge, huge differentiator between the people who cave on price and the ones that don't. The people who enjoy every prospecting conversation and the ones where the phone weighs 1,000 pounds or the email weighs 1,000 pounds or the LinkedIn weighs 1,000 pounds or whatever it is we're doing for outreach. People that love asking for air conversations versus the ones that hate that. People that love doing the interview strategy versus people who hate that. Because it's if your head's not right, none of these strategies are going to work and none of these strategies are going to last. So I would just encourage you, especially as you're in module 1 and 2, really get in touch with not what does your program do or what your program is. Think about what your program means. And there's a great exercise to do this that can help you get your head straight. Piece of paper, take out a pen, line down the middle what my program is. What my program is. My program is marketing and mentoring and messaging and packaging and great. That's all the inputs. what my program means. What does this mean to my client? What does this mean to my audience? What does this mean to my individual audience member? What is he or she going to be able to do? What is he or she going to be thinking differently when they leave that meeting? What is he or she going to be feeling emotionally differently after they leave that meeting? What will they tangibly, behaviorally do differently? What will they stop doing? What will they start doing? How will their lives be better? So 2 columns, right? My program is, right? What it is, who cares? No one cares what the program is. You know, it's motivation, it's inspiration, it's power entertaining, it's creativity, it's how to build a great restaurant, how to build a great culture, how to build a talent development pipeline. Who cares? Who cares? Yuck. Second column, gold. Gold, gold, gold. Here's what my program means. When people come to a keynote, workshop, seminar, engage me for training or coaching, here's what this means for them. Here's the outcomes. Here's the outputs. Here's what we create in their world, in their company, in their culture, in their life, with their finances, with their sales, with their leaders, in their company, with what happens at the water cooler, what happens when people pass each other in the hallway, what happens when there's conflict, what happens during any of these critical situations, from the mundane to the ridiculous. Here's what my program means. And then you take that piece of paper and you look at it, and like when you're about to send that LinkedIn message, you look at that piece of paper, you go, damn, that's pretty good. And when you're about to send that initial email, you look at the piece of paper, you go, damn, that's pretty good. And when you're about to pick up the phone and call somebody or return someone's call because they called you because of something smart that you sent, you look at your piece of paper, you go, damn, that's good, right? This is like building a muscle. Thinking that you're awesome once in a while is not going to build the muscle. Working on it, reiterating it, realizing it, putting some texture and dimension to it, that's what's going to drive your marketing and sales activity to become something that's going to be easy, effortless, and enjoyable. Instead of this big drag like, oh, nobody needs this, I'm interrupting strangers, and I feel yucky, and I feel pushy, and I feel like a peddler. When I have an awesome program, when you have an awesome program, you're simply inviting people to a conversation about how you can help them get that second column, right? My program means all of these things for my clients and for my audiences. Huge, huge, huge difference. So I would encourage you, if nothing else from today, Drew, do that 2-column activity. Get in touch with the awesome outcomes of your program, and that's what we're selling. We're all in the business of selling outcomes. No one here is selling a speech. No one here is selling a training. No one here is selling a process or a program. We're always selling the right-hand side column of that activity. Could not be more important. Couldn't be.
That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I did have another question real quick.
Yes, let's fire that up.
On the why hire document.
Yes.
Do you have one, or do you have one for, like, I'm targeting franchises and conference planners?
Sure.
Do I have one why hire, or do I have 2 that's modified to that target audience?
So great question. So I'll answer 2 questions. One is, should your other materials be different? And then should this document be different? I would say anytime that there's a major difference in what you would want to say to one set of buyers versus another, then you simply have an alternate form of that document. Why hire Drew? And again, I don't know necessarily why a franchise would be different than a regular conference or association convention. Why hire Drew is really about your distinctions. It's not about your program. It's not about the substance of what you're going to teach them. It's about what sets you apart from other people who do what you do. So that's where we talk about things like experience, authenticity, expertise, relevance, customization, tailoring. All of those things probably are the same, I'm guessing. Are there areas of that document, expertise, experience, authenticity, not a prima donna, fun to work with, understands, customization, etc. Are there things that you see diverging between those 2 buyers, or no?
No, it's little words, like instead of using audiences, it's using employees or clients. It's just, I mean, it's
If
very, very
it's
minor.
something on why hire you, I love lists. I would say, Drew, make sure that every one of your attendees, every one of your members, every one of your, attendees, members, franchisees, or, employees walks away with. So again, you can generalize that a little bit. It's kind of like, when we use pronouns like he, she, right? It's like she, he, whatever. So you kind of plug in that pronoun that has a couple different variations. Make sure that every single one of your attendees, employees, franchisees walks away with whatever. And then that's an easy way to work around that. I wouldn't have an alternate version that just changes that one vocabulary word. So, even when I talk in some of the material, it's about, David speaks to corporations, associations, and groups. Feel free to steal that one, right? Corporations for the corporate side, associations for the association side, and then group is like an umbrella. It's like, well, you got a group of people, you got a $10,000 check, great, call me. If they're gathered in a tent somewhere outside some campground, I'm there for 10 grand. It's not a corporation, it's not an association, it's 50 people in a tent. Count me in. You got the money? I'm there. So things like corporation, association, group, things like, your team, your franchisees, your attendees, your members, feel free to use those words in just a comma list.
Okay, good deal. Thank you.
Very easy to do. Cool. Very nice. But the mindset piece, guys, that we just talked about for everybody, not just for Drew, what it is, what it means, that could be a game changer for you. That alone could be a game changer for you. So Kristie's question is about hosting your own events. Already done 2 smaller workshops. Should I concentrate on being hired by others? So here's the deal. I want to hear more about your question.
Okay.
I will preface my listening with the following statement, that filling your own events is the #1 hardest way to make money in this business.
Agreed.
My friend Robert Bradford, who's a very successful strategic planning speaker, he says you really don't know about producing and filling your own events until you've lost $1 million trying to do it. After you've lost $1 million trying to do it, then you're going to have some things figured out. And why does he say that? Because he lost $1 million doing it. And now he does it, and he makes about $300,000 or $400,000. He makes probably about $2 million total, but $300,000 or $400,000 of that comes from doing his own events because now he's figured it out. But it took losing $1 million to figure it out, so that's a pretty high tuition. That's now not to discourage you, but tell me more about what you have in mind or how that fits with your paid professional speaking, where you are getting hired in front of groups.
Okay.
Is it an either or what's your thought process behind your question?
Okay. Yep. No, that's good. Well, I'd like to try and do both. That's kind of, if you look at something like a Brendan Burchard, right? I know I can't be compared to him, but I like his business model. I like how he does things. He hosts live events, and you can hire him to speak. So just looking at that as a generic, that's kind of what I like to do. I love event coordination. I love holding events. I enjoy doing it. And yeah, I know that you don't make as much money doing it yourself as that, but I like ones that I'm in control of and customizing. So I would guess that I would only do maybe 1 or 2 live events a year, maybe one for my coaching clients, and then one for just like a generic one, like Brendan Burchard or Tony Robbins just puts out a generic one. Then they have one just for people in their program. That's kind of what I was looking at doing, as well as being hired to speak at conferences and things like that. So does that answer your question, or?
It does, but again, I think this is a really great question, and it comes from a place of authentically kind of figuring out what you want to do and what your world should look like as far as a business model and a revenue model. Brendan does events because he's got 1.5 million people on his email list.
Oh yeah, of course.
So if you had 1.5 million people on your email list, I would say let's go all in on events. Hell, I'll come do your event. If you have an email with 1.5 million, I'll come to your event for free. It's all going to be entrepreneurs and consultants and solo professionals. So, you have to think about, okay, and again, this is true with the competitive scan also, because we talk about this in the competitive scan, that you want to look at people that are sort of at your level, at your fee level, at your experience level. Look at a guy like Brendan. number one, you're going to get depressed, of course. And then number two,
Oh, yeah.
also,
No, I already know.
you
Yeah.
didn't start that way. So we're looking like 10 years into the future. So where your
Right.
business
That's my
10
main
years
goal.
from today is dramatically different.
Yes.
You got it.
So that's what I aspire to. I know I'm nowhere near that right now. 1.5. I think I'm like 1.4.9 low on that.
Right.
So that was my question was, I did a couple live events just because I thought,
Sure.
well, why not? I got a following. I got some people on my email list. I've got some cheerleaders, so to speak, is what I call them. I've even got clients from it, but
Right.
I want to make sure I stay focused. I'm sure what makes, what builds the credibility better and what builds focus. Because I don't want to do, I'm hosting live events here and I'm speaking over here and I'm doing retreats here and I'm doing, all these things. It's like, I'm asking like, where should I focus first? Because like you said on the last call, do things that are going to lift other things up. So concentrating on my speaking and then my coaching will follow.
Yeah.
In this case, when you're talking about events and things like that, what's your thought on that?
Well, so I think the shortest, because here's the problem with events, just to kind of go back half a step. Events, you're responsible for the event and you're responsible mainly for putting butts in seats, right? What I'd rather do is take the butts and seats work and put that on somebody else. And that somebody else is going to be that association, that state conference where people are already coming together. They're already taking care of the butts and seats. They're already buying the food. They've already rented the hotel. They've already paid for the AV. I just get to show up. I do my thing. I walk out with my $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 check. There's maybe some follow-up business, some coaching clients, some consulting clients. Maybe every time I go, right, I build my list, and then 5 or 10 of those people out of those 150 or 300 people, 5 or 10 of those people come to my private event or come to my next webinar or come to my next private super duper whatever we're doing. But the driver of it should be the events where other people are putting the butts in seats and you're simply getting paid the checks. And then from that audience, you can monetize that audience any way you want on the back end. Does that kind of answer your question or no?
No, I think it does. I just wanted to, I've got a lot of thoughts. I mean, like I said, the Brendan level is what I aspire to.
Sure.
And he's got a lot of stuff that he does, but I want to be very focused on what I'm doing now at this level to where I'm not like spreading myself thin and I'm not being focused, Right. So if holding live events courtesy of me, Kristie Stocker, is what I need to hold off on, then that's cool. Then I'll follow what you just said.
Absolutely. And I think someone else, I forgot, because my chat is scrolling by, someone said about sponsored events. The kind of a nice middle ground is when you're in module 7 and you're ready to kind of expand this further, kind of the middle ground is sponsored events with a bank or with some big entity who wants to buy you in bulk, basically, have multiple events, right? They're still filling the room, but now you're partnering with them. You're giving them some creative resources and assets. Maybe you're writing the invitations, you're writing the emails, you build a mini site, a web page, landing page for the registration. All of that is under your banner, but they're funding it. They're giving you the money. They're saying, we don't want to do any of this work. We don't want to rent the facility. We don't want to rent the food. We're doing a turnkey sponsored event. You tell us how much it is. It's $30,000 per event, which covers the venue, the food. You might want to hire a meeting planner, right? Because you don't want to be doing all this crazy crap yourself.
No.
So you're building kind of like a mini event production company, but you're doing it for the bank, or you're doing it for the insurance company, or you're doing it for whoever that sponsor is. So you still get to exercise your event planner chops or your event production chops, but A, they're funding it, and then B, you can put in the cost of all of those team members into your sponsorship fee.
Yep, that makes total sense. In fact, that's probably even a better answer because I'm only on modules 1 and 2. I just started, so I haven't gotten there yet, but that's a really good idea. I think
I like that you've got 1.49 million people to go on your email list. That's a very optimistic way to look at it.
That's right. That's what we're doing. So, okay. Well, that makes sense. I'm glad I got the focus. So that's all I got.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right. So our next question is Melinda. Review my documents. I see some glitches. Would like to highlight highlights looked at for impact. I think is something maybe repeating. Last critique for Allison. I want to get it right. So these documents are going to be post-Allison or pre-Allison that we're looking at?
They've already gone to her once, but I'm seeing some things based upon what you have said that I'm not sure if I need to make some fine-tuning adjustments to it and want to get, of course, your expert opinion on it.
Okay, let's have a quick look.
Okay, thanks.
And we're just popping in the group here, and I'll share my screen in a moment. All right, so Melinda, this is, which one are we looking at? You want to look at the speaker sheet first?
Sure. Actually, when you go away, I see someone's phone signal. I don't see the information, the one sheet.
No, you're not seeing anything yet.
Oh, okay.
I didn't share it yet, so hang on one second.
Okay, thanks.
It's like, there's nothing, kids, there's nothing wrong with your television sets. It's me. How about now?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So,
Can whoever is 513, can you mute your phone, please?
is there some background noise happening?
Yes.
Let me see if we can, here, let's actually do, I forgot, I'm sorry, it's probably my fault because I forgot to do mute all, and then we'll just make sure that's kosher for everybody, and then Melinda, you can unmute if you want to chime in here as I'm looking at this, and I'll go back into screen sharing right here. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so what if you could reduce your time, increase productivity, halt turnover, and stop losing key employees? Conflict resolution is no longer a dirty word. Okay, conflict, it's good. Team conflict, sabotage, steal your profit and your productivity, causing,
So up here, I'm sorry, I think this repeats the first paragraph, and down here there's a repeat of increases between 10 and 20 hours per week if you're a manager. I'm trying to scroll myself, but you'll see further down that same thing is in there, and I don't know if we need to.
Yeah, no, I mean anything that obviously like a copy and paste mistake that should be removed.
No duplicity.
No, there's
Okay.
no. That's just. I think that might just have been like some leftover remnant of something that didn't get cleaned up.
Okay.
So here's the problem with. And again, you gave her this research, correct?
I gave her the research, and I verified it again yesterday.
No, I believe the research. The problem is research is not going to sell the program.
Okay.
So this needs to be about them, their company, their team, their leader, saying, oh, by the way, cancer is a really bad problem out there. People are dying of cancer left and right. And, I might be smoking 3 packs a day. I'm like, yeah, so what? It's like, oh, by the way, unless you put that cigarette down, you are going to die of cancer. Oh, that's a different story than 300 million people, new case of cancer every 72 minutes, whatever, right?
Okay.
That is a symptomatic thing. That doesn't hit me in the solar plexus.
Okay.
We need to hit them in the solar. So, to give Allison credit, she said, okay, well, Melinda wants research. I'll put in the research. I don't think it's research. This overwhelming amount of research, it's meaningless to me.
Okay.
I want you to start talking about my company, my problems, my challenges, what conflict looks like in my hallways and my conference rooms and my meetings, right? The frustration, the anger. And again, this is where you go back to the module 1 and the marketing language bank, right? Which now you've refined, I think, to a really fine, sharp point. What happens when this is missing, funky, broken, and sad? When
Right.
conflict is out of control, what am I experiencing? Don't tell me about 300 million, 25 to 40%, 63%. Doesn't affect me. Doesn't
Okay.
affect me at all. I need this to be me language, right? Me, the reader, me, the executive looking at this. So I think it's a little bit heavy on the research. And again, Allison did what you asked her to do. Say, hey, here's the research. Let's put this in. I don't think putting in that research is a good idea, because too much research and they're like, this doesn't apply to me. There's like an academic paper about why conflict is a problem. This is like Roger saying, oh, innovation and creativity is really super important. Yeah, so that's up here. That's up here. I need to, what does it look like when it's missing, funky, broken, and sad?
Okay.
Why is it a
be
pain
better
in
to
my
start?
ass if I'm a leader that has rampant conflict everywhere I turn? What does my life look like? Because then you've got the pain points, and you can twist the knife and you go, that's where you do your pain gain factors, right? The pain gain factors are a key part of this, right? Stop wasting time. Regain the culture that you always wanted when you started the company, or whatever it is. So it's about re-energize, get things back where they need to be, all those restorative statements that show them that they're not performing where they need to be, and they got to climb the mountain to get back up to where they know they should be and could be and where they deserve to be.
Okay, so can we go through and you assist me with what should stay in? I think the second paragraph, when you're in charge of a team, conflict, bickering, sabotage, and negativity, I think that's speaking to them, right? That's part of what their issue is.
What I'm not seeing on here is any of, where are the answers to your 7 buyer persona questions? Where are the answers to your pain gain factors? And the flip that we have you do in module 1.
Right. I guess the one that says when you're in charge of a team, conflict, bickering. So what you're telling me is that it needs a lot more work.
Well, it doesn't need a lot more work.
I mean, this is what I shared before I sent it to her, and so I'm not sure why.
Yeah, so let's do this. We'll give you a little bit of special love and attention. We're not going to solve it here on this call.
Yeah.
And we'll get you and me and Teresa and Allison to put our heads together. And then if you would send Allison your 7 buyer persona questions and the pain gain factors, then she and I can put our heads together on it, and we'll fix this right up. It's easy, but it's just, we're not going to do it line by line right here today in front of everybody, because that would be silly. So we will get that squared away for you.
Okay.
Awesome. And then I'll also include the rest of those documents. We're not going to, because I'm sure the same sort of thing is happening there. So we'll get all of those documents squared away that you uploaded. So Kip says a draft of the reasons to hire, assessment of length, clarity, etc., and then results consult group to talent development works. Okay, so let's look at your reasons to hire first. And let me pull those up out of the group. Files. All right, reasons to hire Kip. And I'm going to share my screen here in a moment. There it is. I like your watermark that says draft. That's very professional looking. And here comes Sharapalooza. There it is. All right, your participants will see startlingly strong improvement. So this is a very common problem that we have all the time. There's the program reasons, and then there's the reasons to hire you specifically. So, and you can cheat. So here's how to cheat. It's you want your participants to see strong improvements immediately, right? So it's about you want. Don't promise them that your participants will see startling strong improvement. That's about the program, right? Reasons to hire Kip specifically is you don't want some pie in the sky theory. You want people to see startlingly strong improvements so fast their head's going to spin.
Okay.
So that just becomes a you want statement. I love maximize your ROI. When people put Kip's lessons to work, they build trust with colleagues, direct reports, and customers. I might even put a speed thing in here, like faster than they ever thought possible.
Okay.
And then we're putting in some quotes here. Improves human performance. I've seen the results in my life and work. Knows how and when to ask the tough questions, and he drives accountability. So I sort of see the connection between that particular testimonial and point number one. Do you have another testimonial that speaks more directly to the value prop of number one, which is startlingly fast improvements?
I will look around.
Okay. Now, again, it's not terrible. If you don't have anything better, then let's leave it for now. But ideally, it's here's the claim and here's the proof.
Right.
Here's the claim and here's the proof. Here's the next claim and here's the proof, so that each testimonial really nails down the anchor on that reason.
Got it.
All right. So yeah, and again, I would change as anytime you can use you and your, and this is the same thing that we just talked about with Melinda, right? It's your people will get tools meaningful to their exact situation. So I'd put in the word your, I'd put in the word exact.
Got
Right?
it.
Your people will get tools meaningful to their exact situation. And then people go, damn, okay, great. So each program is customized. Kip will talk in depth. Fantastic. Now, it sounds like this testimonial is about your sort of mix of modes and modalities and the engagement
Yeah.
and the interaction. It does not talk about customization, no cookie cutter, etc.
Okay.
We have one that really, because I love the testimonial. I love the point, and I love
Just
the
in the-
testimonial.
in the
I just
wrong
don't
place.
see them as connected unless I'm missing something.
Okay.
Do you agree or no?
Yeah, I think so. We'll find some. We'll find. There's
Okay.
a bunch of. We'll find something.
Excellent. Participants will learn in 3 ways. And again, your participants will learn in 3 ways. Captivating stories, let them feel and know. I'm going to ask you a really stupid question right now, but that's why I'm here. What's the 3rd way besides feeling and knowing?
In their gut, in the essence of who they are, just a visceral kind of thing. Maybe it's the same thing as feeling or knowing.
So, yeah, well, let's unpack that for a minute, though. So, stories connect the participants to the lessons by letting them feel and know as if they were in the stories and learn the lessons in their bones and gut, not just in their heads. So we got 5 things going. We got feel, know, bones, gut, and head. We're like an anatomy lesson.
They've
here.
got too many.
Yeah. I would say this is a great point, and it's just the language needs a little bit of a fix. I would use the 3 words intellectually, emotionally, and practically, right? So emotionally is what they feel, intellectually is what they think, and practically is what they do.
Okay.
Now that's an awesome trio. So they're going to get it intellectually, the stories connect with them emotionally, and the immediately actionable takeaways connect on a practical basis, right? Practically.
Got it.
So they will be thinking differently, doing differently, and feeling differently after the program is done.
Good.
I love relatable and easy to work with. I also like unflappable, but again, I'm not sure if that's about relatable.
It's when stuff goes wrong.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. Is there more text to what Terry said? Is there more?
Yeah, the rest of it wasn't relevant at all.
Oh, it wasn't relevant.
Not
So
to
it
this.
wasn't like you fell off the stage or you crashed into the whiteboard or anything?
Yeah. I can go back and talk to her again.
So sudden room changes, loss of power, entering in unauthorized people. I do love when strangers walk into the training room. Like, you got to love that.
It does happen.
Is this? It happens all the time, right? Is this the Microsoft Excel training? And you know what I do? I say yes. Yes, it is. Come on in. Have a
Come
seat
on
in the
in.
back. And I'll waste 10 minutes of their time. They go, this isn't the Excel training. I said, but it was more fun than the Excel training, wasn't it? And they leave very confused.
Right.
That's me because I'm a mean person.
Okay.
All right. So Kip shares a wealth of successful business experience and lessons. Yep. Love that. So talking about the board of directors, high-level executive, construction, healthcare, law, real estate. Good. What's your deciding factor between these two testimonials right now?
I think the first one is a little too wordy. I'm not sure I took a couple things out.
Is it more relevant and just needs to be cut down, or you think the second one might be more relevant?
The second one might be more relevant. I don't know.
I would just use the second one. I think that kind of gets the point across. And again, if you have a better one that's maybe a better fit, great. But, all of this is a great start. This is really, really good. Every presentation is interactive and experiential. Now that one I think goes with Holly M.
Okay.
Right, because that's the testimonial that pays off on the interaction, engaging, quick moving. He nailed it. So I think that might find a better home under number 6. And I'll tell you, so amazing insight into difficult and long-standing challenges. Man, just swap those out. That goes under number 2. Put that puppy under number 2. That's perfect. So swap out the testimonials in 2 and 6 and problem solved for both.
All right.
That was easy. Participants will benefit as Kip adds value in many ways. Love it. Kip respects the time and investment. Everyone's yep, good. Recent participants in various recent presentations. What was the most useful part? Among the responses were, yeah, this one I don't think is earning its weight. I might take this one and put this on your, put this on your client success or your, testimonials page. I think this would be great with 8. I think this one kind of bends the template here a little bit. That's not really a reason to hire you.
No, it really isn't. It was, I left, I knew it doesn't really fit. I had it there because it.
Just park that stuff somewhere else. Maybe that goes on the web page. Maybe that goes on your testimonial sheet. That can go lots of good places.
Got it.
Really well done. Nice job.
Great.
All right. Okay, similar. While we're in the track here, let's go to Annette's reasons.
Did you, wait a minute.
Yes.
Comment on the name change.
Oh, the name change. Yes. Well, so is that URL available?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes. I reserved it the other day.
Damn.
Not
That's
anymore.
Slam dunk.
Not anymore.
Yeah, totally. Now, again, we talked about this, right? If you're putting all your chips on talent development, like I put all my chips on marketing, right? Do It Marketing is never going to come out with a leadership program.
Right.
Sorry. You guys want to learn leadership? I'm not your guy. You want to learn marketing, actionable, right? That's the do it part. I've set all my chips on marketing. That's all I'm ever going to do until the day I retire, the day I die, probably the same day. If you're all in on talent development works is fantastic.
Great.
It is totally fantastic, and I would jump on that ASAP.
It's I already own it. I just
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Very nice.
Great. Thank you.
All right. So now that we're on track, we're in the document groove here. Let me pull up Annette. And by the way, if you guys are coming to the co-working day, you'll be able to work on this, workshop it, upload a fresh copy. We can do some of this together. That's not necessarily for Melinda, because Melinda will kind of get you fixed up in a different way.
Can I say one more?
If you are kind of banging away on your documents, that co-working day is a great day to really dedicate some time and get those done and get those Allison ready. Okay, so Annette's one sheet and the screen share is coming. Please stand by. There we go. And make that a little bit bigger and push the right buttons. And there it is. Okay, So I just have to move my Zoom window because I got all kinds of things blocking my own view of what's going on here. There we go. All right, the $1 million recipe. Integrity, consistency, leadership, how to take your business over the $1 million mark. So, most popular keynotes and seminars, finding your leader within, fire up your workplace without setting it on fire. Are you leading or being dragged? Starting a business is not the same as staying in the business. Okay, so those are good. Solutions to the key ingredients that drag down the morale of your staff and ultimately your business. Her wisdom is derived from 20 years of owning and working in the trenches of 3 successful, profitable restaurants. So I think, again, here, just a cosmetic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Selectively bolding some of these things. And here we go. So like just as an example, that's not it. As an example, because you want these things to be scannable. You want them to pop. Right. And I know that we're not doing graphic design here. You're still going to send this to some design resource, etc. But, yes. That would be there. Starting a business is not the same as staying in business. So that those 3 pop. I would also highlight these things so it's more scannable, right? Maybe even working in the trenches, that we can just continue that whole thing there. 3 successful, profitable restaurants. Of the 10 million women-owned businesses, Annette became one of the elite 4%. I would just maybe even just say 4%. Let them read the rest of that on their own. Leadership begins at the ground level. Set your mind. Line in numerous columns. Okay. Cool. And then testimonials. Are we going to put logos here on the right or just leave it as text?
Actually, I hadn't thought of that, but I can certainly. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Just an idea. And again, there's a little bit of a gray area with using logos. Sometimes you get smacked. I personally, and this is not a recommendation, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an ethicist, I don't play either one on TV. I did a program once for a division of Sony. And, some people police this more than others. I've got logos all over my website. I've got logos all over my print material. I got a nastygram from Sony saying, we noticed there's an unauthorized use of our logo on your materials, and we need you to remove that immediately. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this or not. Sony has more expensive lawyers than I do. So I said, no problem. Watch how fast I go. I immediately removed it from the website, from the one sheets, just whoop. That was the one and only time that I've ever gotten smacked. So what I do, not what I recommend, but what I do, and you can infer from that what you will, I'm the kind of person with the client logos, I will rather ask forgiveness than permission. Not the right choice for everyone. Check with your attorney. I'm glad this is being recorded. Check with your attorney. Check with your laws of your state. I do not want to get anyone in trouble, but I have used a lot of client logos, and I got in trouble once. And then I fixed it, and then the lawyer said, thank you very much for your cooperation. Because they don't want to sue you any more than you want them to sue you. And when Sony says jump, I say how high. So that's it. Now, this sounds like more of a bio. I'm not getting a lot of meat off of these 3 programs. So all of this real estate here is Annette, background, credibility. All of that is great, but don't you want to put more meat under these program titles with maybe 3 or 4 bullets under each one of what I'm going to get when I bring you in for those?
Isn't a one sheet supposed to be limited to one sheet front and back?
Yes, but again, I wouldn't take up, this is like 50% of page 1 is your bio.
Okay.
Bio needs to be like a blurb. Like if you look at the samples that are in the portal, my bio is like 2 sentences off in the lower right-hand side corner, and I've got the 3 programs, and then in this program you get bullet, bullet, bullet. In the second program, bullet, bullet, bullet. In the third program, bullet, 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 and all of that's in the upper right. So here's what to think about your one sheet. If this was the only communication that they ever got from you, about you, etc., what is the minimum amount of compelling information that would tell them, okay, we got to bring her in. So you need a little bit of everything. This is the challenge with the one sheet, and that's why it's also in the training, is it's some testimonials, that's the social proof. It's a little bit more meat around what's in your program. It's a mini bio. It's, little certifications. If you're a Vistage speaker, if you've got, member of this association, that association, whatever's meaningful to your audience and your buyers. It's a little bit of everything. It's literally like a sampler plate, but it can't be too heavy in one direction or another. It shouldn't be all about your programs, nothing about you. It shouldn't be all about you and no detail about your programs. So it's a little bit of a balancing act. I think this one just happens to be thin on the programs and a little bit heavier, too heavy on you, because all of this could be in your bio and it doesn't need to be taking up 50% of page 1.
So basically, I should expand the top and shorten up the bottom to a couple of lines.
Yeah, so you get this awesome outcome. And again, I would fix the spacing. Then you get this, and sorry about the typing, and don't forget this one. And again, this could be small. You tighten this up.
Right.
Watch these crazy Microsoft Word skills. Bam, like there, right there. And so, and again, this is not graphically designed. It's not graphically laid out. You can do some fun things with design here also, but that's what I would do. And then the Annette, here's what I would do with Annette. I would just take all of this other stuff off. Don't need any of that. You don't need to say that any of that. That's it. Annette offers solutions to the key ingredients that drag down the morale of your staff and ultimately your business. Her wisdom is derived from, and again, maybe even shorten the words, right? Comes from. Plain English, not is derived from. That sounds like science. Her wisdom comes from, right? Conversational, vernacular language. Her wisdom comes from 20 years of owning and working in the trenches of 3 successful, profitable restaurants, which she grew into award-winning local icons. I'm also going to add, one of the restaurants broke $1 million a year, correct?
Yes.
We're just going to make some stuff up here. I'll post this for you and send it. Which she grew into an award-winning local icons, one of which joined the 4% club of $1 million revenue operations.
Nice.
$1 million per year. And we'll put 4% club in quotes. By the way, if you had a coaching program or like an online kind of thing, I would totally call it the 4% club. And it's for restaurant owners that want to get to $1 million without losing their life or losing their hair.
Oh, I like that.
I know. I know. I don't bring you no junk. This is serious in here, dudes. This is serious. That's great. That's great. I would just do a little rebalancing, and I would say you're good to go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Excellent. And so let's go back. Roger asks about hardship discounts for our services.
7 reasons. And
you
the
want to look at 7? I'm sorry. All right, let's go to your 7. I knew that was too easy. As amazing as it was, I still knew it was too easy. Thank you. I apologize for skipping over that. Did you upload that? Oh, 7 reasons. There it is from 2 hours ago. Fantastic. All right. Version 2, I believe, is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
And little screen sharing doodad here. I think this is the right one.
I hope so.
All right, 7 reasons. You want someone who's committed. Again, I wouldn't even say if. I would just say you, right? You want, you're looking for, very similar to what we talked about with Kip, right? You don't need the if. Just it's you want this, you want that, you're looking for this, you're looking for that. All right, so we got that. Again, testimonial connects pretty well with the main point here, or is there a better one?
No, that's pretty much the best one.
Okay, good. Pretty much on point then. That's awesome. You're looking, and again, just cut the if. So it's you're looking right? You're looking for an experience that's instructive and transformational. Handout, link to additional information, follow up, online. And again, I love that this is specific, right? You're not just saying, oh yeah, we follow up. Oh yeah, it's going to be transformational. Oh yeah, this will stick. It's like, well, give me 3 reasons. It's go, okay, I'll give you 3 reasons. You get a handout, you get additional resources, and you get follow up. I got it. Love it. Fantastic. Now this testimonial I'm not seeing really connect with the main point here, unless I'm missing something. This talks about style and enthusiasm kept you engaged, renewed inspiration. Doesn't talk about the follow-up necessarily. Doesn't talk about the resources, correct?
Well, I didn't have them back then.
Do you have anything that is close to Annette's material is top-notch and I've kept it for years?
No. Oh, well, yes. The one that is, well, the Tutabella, she tells in the bigger version, she gave out my material, and that changed the way the whole team worked.
All right, so that's what I'm talking about. Let's bring some of that into it.
Okay.
Because again, you want it to be reason that makes sense, backed up with some kind of proof, and then testimonial to just nail the reality of it. It's not just you saying it, it's a client saying it.
Correct.
Yeah,
and she does mention that she gave her staff my stuff. And I just
and
wasn't.
That made all the difference. And that made all the difference.
Yes.
Fantastic. So genuine, engaging presenter, holds attention, real life stories. This may be too much detail here about the whole firefighter piece. You don't need to trot that out.
Okay.
I would leave that by the wayside because maybe they're not even hiring you for that program. Right. So you don't want to necessarily tie your reasons to hire to any specific program.
Right. And I wasn't sure about that, so I left it in until you looked at it.
Yeah, I would take that out. I think that, that, again, just like with, with Kip's situation there, that can find a home somewhere else.
Right.
You want someone who inspires confidence and hope, no platitudes or hype. And I would just change that to or maybe. Right?
Okay.
No platitudes or hype. Last thing you want is yeah, good. 20 years experience in the trenches. Cool. Information that actually contributes to their bottom line. More than inspiration, actionable strategies, solid work relationships.
Now I'm wondering if I should put, the last, in the restaurant industry, the minimum it costs to lose and hire a restaurant manager was like $25,000.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering.
I wouldn't worry about that. For this testimonial, though, I would take out energetic and engaging because that's not really the main point here. The main point is stronger employee relations and 10% turnover.
Right.
So don't bury the lead. Let's just take that out completely and start right with, Annette's passion for building stronger employers and made it much better. And then that is right on point.
Okay.
Unique history of a successful and resilient entrepreneur. So how is that one different than the earlier one? How is 6 different from number 4? Because 4 talks about real world experience in the trenches. It sounds like 6 is the same, no?
It's not. Maybe I have to be clearer because one is about the trenches and one is about what they're coming, just like you were talking about, what's in your head.
Yeah.
What's in your head is what's going to determine where your success comes from. And that's
so this is really about resilience and about mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would maybe unique history maybe is what threw me off. Here's what I would do. You're looking for how about this? You're looking to share the mindset, skill set, and tool set of a resilient entrepreneur.
Oh, I like that.
So that really nails the point. You're overcoming tragedies. You're telling stories about fire, parents dying, home. I mean, this is serious, right? This is not like, oh, ha, ha, ha. This is like, oh, my God, you survived all of that. You came back to fight another day. You came back to win. You came back to, end up on top of the $1 million a year business. That's about mindset. That's about grit. That's about determination. That's about attitude. So I love that. And again, I think the payoff then makes a lot more sense if you change the title of that reason.
No, I like that title.
Yeah. And then number 7, walk the walk, cashed in on success. So 7 then maybe sounds like 4. How are 7 and 4 different?
Well, there's also something goofy going on in my head. I didn't like 6. I didn't like 6 reasons. I like 7 reasons. I didn't like 8 reasons.
Oh, all right. Well, then pick something that just wouldn't duplicate.
Okay.
Right? Do you want to talk about customization, personalization? How many programs have you done up to this point? Just roughly ballpark.
You mean got paid to do?
No, not even necessarily. Just how many trainings or workshops or seminars or speeches have you ever presented?
Maybe 20.
Okay, not a good number.
No.
If it was more like 150 or 300 or something like that, what's coming in my mind is 300 programs, no 2 were ever the same.
Right.
And they were always customized, tailored, etc.
Yeah, and I worked for 2 seminars.
The same. That's not necessarily a confidence builder, but that's okay. I would pick something else, riff on that, and what you don't want to do is duplicate.
Is there any way that I can use the experience of working for 2 seminar companies? I mean, because they were always
of course.
different.
Sure, totally.
Yeah. So now you're into 150.
Fantastic. 100. So, okay, here it is. And again, you'd have to write the rest of it. We're not going to write this right now. But 150 presentations, no 2 were ever the same. Right? So that speaks to extreme customization, tailoring, personalization, pre-work, etc. So, let's make this an English sentence. Annette has given 150 plus presentations. No 2 were ever the same. And then the value prop here is about customization. Hopefully there's a testimonial that nails that in.
Yeah, there isn't. I mean, I didn't really
don't worry about it.
Going to move forward back then. So
here's the problem again with the 4 arrows. The 4 arrows, you're doing all 4 of these, right? You're saying that you have got a winning formula to define your financial success?
That's from their website.
Whose website?
Applebee's.
Oh, well, you don't want this to be Applebee's specific. You want this to be applicable to everybody.
Well, for right now, I want it to be Applebee's specific. And then, because I'm going to submit it quickly, and then I'll work on Monday, or I'll work before Monday.
So you'll genericize it. It's just, little typo check. You want to make sure you spell defining correctly. Marketing efforts, making meaningful improvements to performance. And again, that's their language.
That is.
And then I might just capitalize here. And again, you want to make this, I know this is kind of rough right now, but you want to make this, ready to show them and no typos and no funny stuff. So building and connecting an engaged, resilient, effective team. This sounds very generic. So why would I come to Annette for this? What's the secret sauce? You know what this needs to be? This is $1 million recipe.
Oh.
Boom. It's the $1 million recipe. And if you want to get more verbose, which I don't recommend, but why not, right? It pays off on what we said earlier: mindset, skill set, tool set. Bam. That's the missing piece. Yeah, you got a winning formula. Great. You're a franchise. You have the binder. This goes way the hell beyond the binder. Marketing efforts, good. We got big ads. We got online. We got banner ads. We got Facebook, Google advertising. What you're missing is the $1 million recipe that's going to give your franchisees the mindset, skill set, and tool set to be resilient, successful restaurant owners. And then that in place, you've got a sustained or sustainable system that delivers strong free cash flow results. Is that for the franchisor or the franchisee?
That was about Applebee's under the franchise section.
So sustainable system that delivers strong results. And I don't know if this is a term that they use, but generally franchise networks talk about across the business, etc. So sustainable system that delivers strong results across the business, or for every franchisee, or for whatever it is. They want to bring you into a franchisee conference?
Well, it's a quarterly meeting for the general managers of a region, of the Northeast region.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I think that works then. But again, your secret sauce, no pun intended, your secret recipe, that's always arrow number 3. Without you, they're screwed. What you had in here before, I could get from 50 different people. Oh, it's team building. Yeah, we don't need that. Oh, it's leadership. Yeah, we don't need that. Oh, it's talent development. Yeah, we don't need that. Right? $1 million recipe, registered trademark, giving you the mindset, skill set, and tool set so that every manager leaves understanding the sustainable system that delivers strong results across the business. Yeah, that's what I want. And if you're a necessary evil that's in the way that I have to hire you and pay you money to make that happen, I'm going to pay money to the necessary evil.
Deal.
So I'm a necessary evil in your world. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you are.
If you could do all of this just by pushing a button or taking a pill, you would not be spending 2 hours on Tuesday and 2 hours on Thursday, all this work, morning, noon, and night, creating your documents. You wouldn't be on the phone with Teresa. You wouldn't be on the phone with Allison. You'd be like, the hell with it. Just get me the result. Show me the baby. Unfortunately, we are the necessary evil that stands between you and that result. And that's why you're here. Because we are the bridge, we are the shortcut, so like each of you are the bridge and the shortcut to get your clients and audiences from where they are to where they need to be. Without your piece of the arrow, and this is the power of this construct, without your piece, they don't get there. They don't get there. You ain't gonna make it. If I blow up the bridge that goes across the valley, guess what? That train's going down. That freight train is going down the valley. Explosions, cowboys, horses die. It's terrible. You don't want that. You want to be the bridge. You want to be that indispensable piece. This is also part of have to have versus nice to have, right? So again, Roger's 4 arrows are going to be super important. Rocco's 4 arrows are going to be super important. Everyone's 4 arrows are going to be super important. Kip's 4 arrows are going to be super important. Drew, when he said about the top of our call here about nice to have versus have to have, Drew's missing piece, how and why Drew is the missing piece, because now he knows what it is and now he knows what it means. So here's what it means, guys. If you don't have this piece, you ain't crossing the bridge. You ain't crossing the bridge, my friends. I am the necessary evil that gets you from where you are to where you need to be and where you want to be. So that's the story with that. Does that help, Annette?
Yeah. And I would have never thought to put $1 million recipe in that arrow. So yeah, you definitely are the necessary angel, my friend.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
Cool beans. All right. So next up is Roger. And what else do we have here? So Roger, do I have your question in the chat or no? I might have, people are typing in there, things are scrolling, I'm screen sharing, I have no idea what's going on anymore. And we got to get you off mute because I can't hear you.
How about now?
Perfect.
Fabulous. Okay. So this is so a little backstory on this. One of our clients is the University of the Virgin Islands, and I have that through the university. They inquired with one of my colleagues as far as they need some strategic planning help. So they need the tools for strategic planning. We don't do the strategic planning, but they need to do the creativity tools. He put a proposal in, and he realized that he really couldn't do the job because his schedule can't do it. He said, would you be interested in doing this? I looked at the proposal, I talked to them, and it's 2 programs, and it's $5,000 for 2 programs. Well, that's way below what I charge. But guys, it's the University of the Virgin Islands, and I've been down there a couple of times. We all know what happened in St. Thomas and St. Croix. They just got blown out. So I was talking with them yesterday, and I said, look, the fee just doesn't work, you know, and it was almost like they were begging me to come down. So I've decided to do the engagement, but when I put in the fees, David, I just want to check this with you. I put the proposal together, it's down there now, and it says fees. 2 programs at $5,500 equals $11,000, less $6,500 discount for friends of the International Center for Studies and Creativity and the people we love in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Total discounted fee for both sessions, $5,000 most expenses. What do you? You're nodding. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, so here's the deal.
Okay.
As long as you're, it's 2 things. It starts with you. It starts with us.
Right.
As long as we're anchored in the fee is the fee is the fee, right? That's the magic of sending that. You know, you can do a program and waive your fee if it's the right audience and you're doing it for the right reason.
Right.
I would still send the invoice that says, put in the number, 10 grand minus 10 grand, reason for discount, right? Balance due, 0. Because when you show up there and there's going to be a CEO or an executive in the group and they're going to ask your host, well, Roger was awesome. How much did you pay Roger? How much does Roger cost? This is what Roger ordinarily would cost the number, but because we're in the Virgin Islands, because he's got a good guy, he gave us some consideration on the fee. But I can tell you, because I've seen the invoice, that his regular fee is X.
Great. Thank you.
So you can be nice, you can be generous, you can be charitable, but understand when you're being charitable, it's based on that real hard dollars and cents fee. So the next time that you turn around, you're not even thinking, well, it was only $5,500 for the USVI. Maybe I'll give IBM $5,500. No, look at the invoice again. Look at your own invoice, right? Regular fee is this, right? IBM has that money. Trust me, they do.
Right.
I think I've seen it in the vault. But so we're not screwing ourselves up that one day we're a $3,000 speaker. The next day we're a $7,000 speaker. The next day we're a $5,500 speaker. And the next day we're a $500 speaker. That will screw you up faster than anything. Because again, it's about the beliefs that we have about our fee determines the fee. Just like I was talking earlier about the beliefs you have about your program and the outcomes of your program determine how vigorously and enthusiastically you're going to invite people to engage you so you can help them. If we don't believe in our math, we're screwed.
Gotcha.
So this construct helps you believe in your math, stick to your math, and still be generous and kind when you need to be.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So after Roger, we have Rocco. And so Rocco, is your questions about the chamber?
Yes.
Okay. So before joining the program, reached out to local chambers to do unpaid speaking in the hopes of getting clients. Chamber just contacted me to do a breakfast meeting in May, whose audience is 50. Should I do it or turn it down? I'm a business divorce attorney. So I guess the question is, it's 2 questions. One is lead generating speaking. Do I do it or not? Second is, who am I doing it for? And where are the leads? So the chamber audience, any chamber, any network, I used to do a ton of chambers. I used to be like the chamber monkey. And I hate networking, and I still went to the chambers and the mixers and the business card exchanges and the cocktail hours. What I found was that was a totally random audience. Yep. Like whoever wasn't going to watch TV that night shows up, and it's the insurance guy, it's the flower basket lady, it's the guy selling, HVAC, it's the local bank teller, bank manager, and it was like just every random Tom, Dick, and Harry. Now, if your chamber is big enough, and they have, let's say, a family business group or subgroup, right? You totally want to be in that room with the 50 family business owners. You don't want to be with the HVAC guy and the consultant and the multi-level marketing guy that wants to sell you hand soap, and the other one who wants to sell you imprinted pens, because you always get the promotional products guy at the chamber, always. And they're not there to buy, they're there to sell.
Right.
So it's about mixed group of random individuals, or is it a targeted group where you have a high degree of confidence that you're going to meet some great prospects there? Because you've already kind of put your toe in the water and they say, hey, I would just go do it for fun. And if nothing else, prove me right.
That was my thought.
Wrong. We'll bet a milkshake on it together, you and me. But going forward, when you want to do a lead generating speech, I would find target-rich groups that you have a high degree of confidence are made up primarily of your target buyers that you want to be in front of. And then you can do those all day long. Those are legitimate lead-generating opportunities. At the chamber, it's not really legitimate because it's just a random bunch of weirdos.
Yeah, I did one a couple of weeks ago to a group of about 9 or 10, and it was, zero result, exactly the crowd you described. But the one thing about the town in which the chamber sits is a fairly wealthy town.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of, it's a business rich town.
Okay.
So I was thinking, if there was any chamber I would do on that, this is probably one of the top 5 in the area.
Great.
And it's an hour of my time or two, so it doesn't seem like a big risk to do it, and it gives me practice anyway to get in front of a group and test my message. And
so when people hire you, let's say I'm a family business, I've got 10, 12 people, I own the business with my dad. When we hire you to come in and work with us, how much is that going to cost?
Oh, when you hire me for legal services?
Wouldn't know, or for consulting or training or coaching or whatever you want to do, kind of on the speaking side too.
Well, the speaking, I was going with the 10, and
10K?
Legal services, which is what I do, packaged up. I haven't resolved that yet. It's,
So what's a typical, that's a great question then. So what do you envision being the kind of the typical package, documentation, agreements, you probably have some facilitation, you bring them into your office in neutral territory and say, hey, let's hash this out. Partnership agreement needs to be written, whatever is in that initial package of legal services. Is that like $5,000, $7,000? What's the ballpark on that?
So on the low end, I was thinking for that $5,000 for an analysis, and then for the whole package to do the analysis and identify the potential issues, then to translate that into either a new agreement or into a revised agreement if you already have one, a $10,000 package. But that's that could be on the low end. That's
okay. So I'm going to give you a strategy right now. And this applies to everybody. I know everyone's like, oh, this is interesting. Where Rocco, you can turn this gig that's coming up at the chamber into $30,000 or $40,000 of business. Would you like to hear this strategy?
Sure.
Okay. So even if the chamber meeting itself is a complete and utter waste of time, between now and the chamber meeting, you are going to go shopping. You're going to go shopping among all the chamber board members and all of the companies that they represent, because they're probably the CEO, the president, the owner, the chairman, or some highly placed VP at some company if they're on the board. And you say, hey, Jim, this is Rocco Luisi. I'm coming down to the chamber. Of which I see you're a board member on March 25th. I'd love to borrow 15 minutes of your brain power so you can help me customize the program and really make that a home run program for the chamber. I know my call's an interruption right now. We can certainly talk now. Would you like to schedule a better time for that 15-minute brainstorming session? And you're literally going to interview these board members The ones that you cherry pick, you do a little bit of research, see if they are in fact a family-owned business, not a publicly held company, but kind of sweet spot business that you want to work with. If there's 20 or 25 members of the board of directors of this chamber, and 19 of them look like companies that you would love to work with, I would have 19 phone calls. I would not skip a single one. And so during those 19, those are basically prospecting calls that you're doing in the guise of customizing your program for the chamber, of which they're a board member. And they love the chamber. And when they're asked to give their time, give their money, give their support, that's what a board member does. When you say, I'm coming into the chamber on March 25th, maybe you saw the program listing on the website. I can't wait. I'd love to borrow 15 minutes of your brain power to help me customize the program to make it really a home run for the chamber members. Can I borrow 15 minutes of your brain power? Now you're asking them about all the pains, problems, headaches, heartaches around your situation. You say, by the way, I'm an attorney and I do this all day, every day for my clients. That's what I'm basing this on. So it's going to be kind of a live ammo presentation. Have you ever had a problem? Have you ever lost some sleep? Are you a partnership? Or do you have any family members that work in the business with you? My brother and I are kind of 50-50. Really? What does kind of 50-50 sound like? Well, we kind of have a handshake. Oh, it's a handshake. There's no piece of paper. There's no agreement. Nah, we grew up together. Blah, blah, blah. He's a good guy. There's never any problems. Well, and again, we're just going nuts on this. I mean, they're giving you so much ammunition. They're giving you so much rope. It's just like, how much easier could this get? How much easier could this get? The premise is totally solid. I'm customizing the presentation for the chamber. You're on the board. And by the way, guys, this works with association board members. This works with conference committee members. Anytime you have a gig, there is no reason not to call every single board member every single time and generate as much. This is called pre-spinoff. The spinoff business happens after the event. This is pre-spinoff that you're going to get hired and paid maybe even before that event happens. And they're going to say, well, Rocco, John, Drew, Ted, we got to bring you in ASAP. Screw March. I can't wait for the March meeting. This is a fire. It's about to explode under my chair here. Are you available February 10th? Are you available February 14th? So that I don't have the heartbreak of my partnership dissolving and being destroyed. Pre-spinoff, my friends. Pre-spinoff. That's it. This program is over. You've just made $1 million. Congratulations. You're welcome.
I'm out.
That's it. Mic drop. I'm out. I'm going to go do that. But seriously, every board member, and you get to, the beauty is you click on chamber, you click on about us, you click on board of directors, there's all their names, there's their phone numbers, there's their email addresses, there's links to their company. This really couldn't get easier. This could not get easier. And it's a gold mine. You talk to 19 people, I think you get 3-4 clients right out of the gate, even before the event. And probably get 2 or 3 of those board members after the event because maybe they weren't planning on attending, but now after they talk to you, you say, hey, by the way, are you planning on being at that event in March? No? Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to bake some of the answers to these questions that you just shared with me. I'm going to bake some of the answers into my program. So it would be great if you'd show up. We could grab a cup of coffee. We could hang out. So now we're doing pre-spinoff. You're getting them excited about coming to the actual meeting. And then you get the post-spinoff as you would ordinarily.
And it's a good way to do market research, too, to come up with
Absolutely.
my word bank.
They're giving you all the marketing language bank. They're giving you the buyer persona questions. They're just filling you up with all the pains, heartaches, headaches, fears, concerns, whatever they're worried about in prospect language. So it's absolutely fantastic market research, and it's money. Money. So good job on getting the free gig. Here's our goal. Anytime that we do a fee-waived program, we don't call them free, fee-waived program, our goal is to monetize the heck out of that before, during, and after. So in my world, there's no such thing as a free speech. I don't think I showed you guys this. Hang on 1 second. There are, of course, visual aids to help you with this. Hold on. It's coming. had to just lean over. So when I go out and I speak to NSA chapters and other groups of consultants and speakers and coaches and so forth, I will sometimes bring a big bag of these buttons that I do not believe in free speech. No free speech. So in other words, you do the speech for no fee. You get paid before, you put some things in place during, you do some things after. If you do a fee-waived speech the right way, there truly is no such thing as a free speech. So I don't believe in free speech. No free speech, people. Free speech can pay. Free speech can pay beautifully. Sometimes you get paid to speak. Sometimes you get paid because you spoke. And they're both good. They're both good. So just do it smartly. Do it with a strategy. Don't do just, hey, they asked me, so I'm going to go. And again, Rocco, you kind of did that before coming into the program, but now we can still monetize that on the back end. So good for you.
Do we, as part of the speaking engagement, can we ask the chamber if they'll buy books for their attendees?
Sure, you can always ask, right? You can always ask anything. But yes, I mean, absolutely. I mean, when you're doing, the way I look at it, when you're doing a fee-waived program, you have permission to do whatever you want. Because, if you're paying me, I'm going to say, hey, would it make sense for us to do a follow-up program or a video or this, or do you want to give me the mailing list and I'll send out some resources to the folks? You can ask for the list, you can ask for video, you can ask for follow-up, you can ask if they want to invest in a companion book for everybody, to make it more meaningful, maybe sponsored by the chamber, put a sticker on the front, a gift from XYZ Chamber of Commerce, so they can buy 200 books or 100 books. They can buy 100 stickers and put the sticker on the cover of the book. You can offer a book signing after the event. Let's set up a table and then I'm happy to sign the books that you've gifted to the audience, and use that language. I'm happy to sign the books that you gifted to the audience so that you get the credit for you giving the gift because you bought 50 copies or 100 copies of my book. I'm happy to do a book signing after the event for the books that you gifted to the audience. And, some will say yes and some will say no. But I think the real money is in the pre-spin-off, right, and then in the plants that you seed when you're in the room, and then the post-spin-off afterwards. And that board member strategy is gold.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. All righty. So I think it's John. John might be the last man standing. So we're having a look at your one sheet, correct?
Literally standing, yes. I'm on a standing desk today, so.
Nice. All right, so let me go into files.
And I don't know that I even want to review it super in depth because I don't think I'm real happy with it. But I guess I'm also looking for an outside perspective too, so.
So I'm not seeing it. Is it posted in the group as a file or no?
It is. I had to go to page 2 to find it just now.
Wow, very strange. All right, let me pop back in there myself. I just hit refresh.
So
you posted it, a couple days ago?
I did. I thought it was like maybe last week, or it might have been Monday. I don't know when it was.
Got it. Okay. So we are looking at Speaker One Sheet 2018 and little sharing palooza. All right. So John's an engaging motivational speaker, leadership strategist known for his ability to help focus on how to influence, not control. So the problem up top here is, again, this is like we were talking about with Annette. This is kind of a bio, and it's all about John. So it's a John-centric message. It's not an audience or an outcome-centric message. You can't talk about that, by the way, but it's not. We're not leading with it. We're leading with, hey, here's John. So I would probably flip that around. Building effective leaders, empowerment, effectiveness, excellence.
And I'm going to probably, like I said,
well, you know what's funny? Even the back is about John, isn't it? So this is, we got more John on the front and we got more John on the back.
I was just reading through it while you were talking and I'm like, this sucks. I don't even show this. So
okay. So we're going to pretend this never happened.
Okay.
No one saw that. It's all good. We're going to start with client-centric, buyer persona questions, pain gain factors. And again, even the exercise that we prescribed today, what is it, right? Input, we talk about leadership, we talk about this, we talk about communication, we talk about that. What does it mean? What does it mean for them? What are the outcomes and outputs? And if everyone listened to you, here's another way to think of the outcomes and the meaning. If everyone in your audience listened to you, which is, I'm waiting for that day that all of you guys listen to me. If everyone listened to you, what would their world look like? What would their world look like if they implemented, if they listened, if they did the work, if they followed your practices and principles and mantras and all the great stuff that you teach, all the strategies and tactics and tools and practices and principles, if they followed that, what would their world start to look like very quickly? That's what your program means.
And that's, I was scribbling.
My life gets better.
Yeah, I was scribbling some notes on that, and that's why I was like, I don't even want to get up there in the queue, but too late. So
okay, well, no worries. You know, this is a progression. This is a stepwise process. It's all good. All right, team. Anything else for anyone else? Anything else I can answer? Anyone else have a burning question? And again, for the folks that are graduating, you guys are awesome. And again, we're doing the co-working day on Monday. You're welcome to join. I think we had some confusion about that. Let me just give 2 minutes on what that is and what it isn't. So co-working is, we're going to come into Zoom at 10 a.m. Eastern. This is on Monday. We're going to come into 10 a.m. It's going to look like this. I'm going to ask you one and only one question, and you will answer in 15 seconds or less. I'm going to say, Roger, in hour number 1, what are you working on? He says, prospecting. Eddie, what are you working on? Finalizing my LinkedIn. Annette, what are you working on? Finalizing the one-sheet changes from Allison. Kip, what are you working on? Drafting the homepage copy of talentdevelopmentworks.com. Great. Just boom, 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 boom. Not 10 minutes later, because everyone will say they're 15 seconds. So 5 to 7 minutes later, we say, okay, guys, great. Bye. We hang up the phone. I'm then going to be sitting on Facebook in the co-working group, not the main group, but the co-working group that you guys are all going to be joining. So I'm hanging out for between 50 and 53 minutes, right? You have a question, you want to post the document, I've got 53 minutes to look at your stuff, give you answers, give you feedback. At the top of the next hour, which is 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. in California for Eddie and our West Coast people. Top of the next hour, hey guys, we're hopping on Zoom. I'm now going to ask you 2 questions. First time I only asked you 1 question. I said, what did you work on in the past hour and did you finish it? Right? So yeah, finished it, got it, check the box, done. Second question, what are you working on in hour number 2? Some people will say, I'm going to continue. I'm in the zone. I'm in the groove. I'm going to keep working on the homepage copy. Some people say, I finished whatever that was. Now I'm going to find 10 leads on LinkedIn. Now I'm going to do some Google research and find 10 associations where I should speak. Now I'm going to connect with 2 past clients who might hire me like ASAP. Great. Okay. 5 to 7 minutes. It's now 11:07, 11:08. Get off Zoom. Close that down. I go back on Facebook. You have questions, you want documents. You have, hey, David, I'm sending out this email. Is this a good email? Is that a better email? Is this the right LinkedIn message? You like this better? This guy, I sort of know a little bit. Should I customize it this way or that way? So I'm just in the group. I'm going nuts. I'm answering the stuff that's going in. Great. Top of the next hour, 2 questions. What did you work on and did you complete it? What are you working on during hour number 3? And we do that from 10 o'clock. So the 10 o'clock call is the kickoff, Eastern. 10 o'clock call, 11 o'clock call, 12 o'clock call, 1 o'clock call. So it's 4 hours. 1 o'clock is our last call. You should block out until 2 o'clock because you're doing that final hour of work on your own. And that's how that works. So it's not a Q&A call where no one's staying on Zoom. And that's why when Don said, well, you know, I'll be in the car. So no, you can't participate from the car because all we're doing is the check-in. The work happens at your desk. You know, imagine that we're all in a co-working space. We're all in some, you know, big skyscraper with big windows and fancy stuff. You're working on your stuff. Other people are working on their stuff. If you want to come into the coffee break room is the Facebook group. And you literally stick your head in my office and you go, hang on, watch. You got a minute? You got a minute? Here, look. Finish the homepage. Give it a quick look. Yeah, sure. Okay, good. Someone else comes in. You got a minute? Yeah. I'm thinking of sending this email. Do you like it? Yeah, I like it. Go. Okay, bye. Right? I'm doing that for like 53 minutes. So that happens in the Facebook group. We come back on. The accountability question is, what you work on and are you done? Next hour, set your intention. What are you working on next? What are you going to tackle next? That's our co-working day. So that's how it works. It's going to be awesome. I've done this. I did this like 3-4 years ago for a totally different program. People went bananas. They just like, oh, this was the greatest thing ever. Maybe it's because like you're doing more work in a single day than you would in a month, otherwise left to your own devices. I hate leaving you guys to your own devices. Your own devices suck. We need to get you going. We need to get you into action. So I'm in the office. I'm in the Facebook group. I'm available. I'm motivating you. I'm kicking your butt on these Zoom calls. You go, well, I didn't finish it. That's okay. Look, you got another hour. Let's keep going. You want to ask me questions? You want to post a revision? Fine, I'm there. I work for you. On co-working day, I work for you. But it's work. It's action. It's not talk. Right? So when we get on, the ground rules will be, and I'll share this on Monday when we start, no stories, no excuses. No, well, David, I worked on this like 7 years ago and I'm still not happy with it, but here's so what I'm going to do is work on homepage copy, revise one sheet, find 10 leads on LinkedIn, do some Google research for associations, like 10 words. You guys get 10 words to set your intention. No story, no backstory, no excuses, no nothing. I mean, literally 5 to 7 minutes. We're out of the Zoom room. We're doing the work. I'm waiting for you in the Facebook group to help you cross the finish line on that task. So it's a doing day. It's a doing day. It's not a question day. It's not a scratch your head day. It's a doing day. Ideally, it's even a money-making activity day. I'd love you to, you can work on documents a little bit. I'd love you to get some leads. I'd love you to connect with some buyers. I'd love you to do some MMA, some money-making activity. Do money-making activity, and I will be super happy and super pleased with your progress. And you will get a $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 check, and you'll be super pleased, and you'll be super happy that co-working day was a good payoff for you. So that is the story there. And Don, we'll invite you to the next one. So I was also thinking of doing this for our alumni group. So Don, don't tell them. But we have a Q&A that we do every once in a while for our alumni, and we may even throw in a co-working day for our alumni. And that way, like you'll never hear the end of me. I will never get off your ass. I will never let you not make money. How about that? Like it's everyone's nightmare come true. It's like, no, now we're seeing Newman in our dreams. Like, sorry guys, got to make it happen. Got to make some money. I'm here to help you at every step of the way. During the program, after the program, whatever. Drew, you have a question?
Yes, sir. I don't mean to sound like an idiot. When do you get paid for a speech, before or after?
Yes. So it's usually, and again, you can look at the contract section, the contract templates. Normally it's 50% deposit to hold the date. So you get paid right away up front, 50% of whatever the fee is. And then I like doing the second 50% actually before the event. So I will say 50% is due 7 days before the event, 14 days before the event. A lot of people say, okay, it's due at the event. It's due after the event. If you guys have been around the block at all, you know that after the event, you are a dead person. You do not exist. Not because they don't want to pay you or they're trying to dodge the bill. They've moved on. Before the event, you are the most important person in their life. It's like, do you have your plane ticket? Are you sure you're going to be there? Can we get you a hotel? Do you need the hotel the night before? Are you sure you're coming? Are you absolutely sure you're coming? We really can't wait for you to come. You coming to the dinner? You coming to the... Afterwards, you can't get a dry cleaning check afterwards. Afterwards, like, David, who? You came and did what? Event? What event? It's like, you paid me 10 grand. I was your best friend 2 weeks ago. It's a weird, I've never seen this in any other business where it's like you're totally dead to them after the event. Not always, but most of the time. This is what happens. So this is why I don't want that second half of the payment to come when I'm a walking corpse. I want the second half of the payment to come when I'm buying my plane ticket, when I'm getting ready to go, when I'm packing my bags, 14 days before, 7 days before. Almost any conference producer or meeting planner is going to be okay with it. Sometimes they say, well, how about we cut the check and I'll hand you the check at the event. And that's like my favorite moment because it's so awkward. You know, they come up to you and like, you did a great, oh yeah, oh my, Roger, that was a great job. Drew, that was fantastic. And they go like this. They reach into the pocket and they go, by the way, this is for you. It's like suddenly like we're in the James Bond business. We're in the Secret Service. Like, this is for you. It's a sealed envelope, usually plain. Maybe it's got the letterhead. It has just like your first name or your first name and last name. And you're like, what is this, a love note? Oh, it's my check. It's my check. I get it. It's my check. I'd rather have that out of the way, right, before. But to answer your question, look at some of the contracts. The contracts spell this out. When they say, hey, Drew, we'd love you to come in. It's March 27th. You know, the fee sounds great. Send us the paperwork. You send the agreement that's like in the templates in the program. 50% due to hold the date. 50% due 7 days before, 14 days before. You can customize that. I like 14 days before. And then they send you a check right away, which is great. And then, you know, so people say, oh, it was a long time till I get paid. Man, you get paid within 7 days of getting booked. And then if the event's in October, the event's in January 2019, the second half of that comes later. But, you know, 50% of $5,500, $7,500, $15,000, I love getting 50% of a $10,000 check. And it's like, oh, the event's in October. So, because here's the deal. Once they pay me the deposit, now it's their turn to disappear and die. Now it's like, oh, I might return your phone call. I might not. No, that's terrible. Of course, we always return the phone calls. We're always fantastic. But you know, it's leverage. Whoever holds the money has the leverage. If they owe you money after the event, you're a dead person. Even if you're not, you're still a dead person, right? Once you have the money, it's like, I'll return your phone call when I get a minute. I'm not going to jump and, oh, it's the client from November of 2019. Dude, if your event's in November 2019, I'll get back to you this afternoon, right? During the prospecting process, oh my God, 3 seconds callback time. Yes, no, absolutely. Oh, sure. And again, I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. I'm saying that's how human nature works. That's what we tend to do, right? It's not a good thing. In fact, I try and be more professional on both the front end and the back end of that, but that's how it typically rolls out. And when you get your feet wet with this, that you'll notice this pattern over and over and over again, and you will laugh. You will laugh that at some point you say, well, I didn't believe David when he said that after the event I'm a dead person, but after the event I'm a dead person. And then you're the most important. They were my best friend up until the event, and then it's like I can't even get Chinese food delivered. So that's how that goes. All right. And John's saying I get half when I get the signed agreement and half 30 days before. So he's like Mr. Super Stud. He goes a month out. It's like, yeah, you know, you better pay me that second half a month before I show up because I like that even better. I like that even better. All right, team. Great to talk to you. More to come. See you in the Facebook group and see many of you on Monday for co-working. I'll see you then. All right. Bye, team.